But let's start right here. I thought that was incredible. I thought that Direct finally showed what I have felt about this game for the last 2 months, that this is going to be the best game on Nintendo Switch 2 this year. I thought it just looked incredible. Reb, I'll go to you. First impressions of the Bananza Direct.
I have also been a believer in this game since it was first shown, but I know that there are some people who were a little more hesitant about it. I thought that was phenomenal. It had so much happening. Like, it's clearly, I think it's pretty obvious, we've been talking about it, it's pretty obviously the Super Mario Odyssey team. So it's got like that Odyssey like structure where you're sort of thrown into this not open world, but like open zone, and are able to sort of run around in whatever order you want and like find all of these different things, collectibles, bananas in this case, as opposed to moons, and then eventually like take on a boss. But then it also has this thing where you can just rip up literally anything and then also move in all of these crazy ways. Like the movement mechanics, I think, were the most mind-blowing to me. Like getting on a rock and like scooting across the water, or being able to use like rocks to double jump, or like climb on vines and then slap your donkey mitts together. I don't know. There's just I want to run. I just want to get in this world and run around and have the zoomies for like an hour. I think that sounds amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the moveset was really nice to highlight because there's so much you can do with it. And I like to see that you can still roll off a ledge and jump in midair like you can in the Donkey Kong Country games. That's like such an essential part of that franchise's platforming DNA. So to see that carried over, and to see so many things from Donkey Kong Country carried over, like we see side-scrolling platforming sections with minecart levels and barrels. It looked exactly like DKC in some moments. The music in here, there was a ton of references to Donkey Kong Country. The DK rap was in here. Seth, first impressions of this Direct.
Yeah, this may turn me. I mean, all right, let me preface this. I was always rooting for Donkey Kong Bonanza. I knew I was going to buy it. For me, it kind of looked like it was probably going to be a solid 7. But now I'm like, man, this is probably going to be a 9 game. This looks so fun. There's just so I like Reb was saying, like turf surfing. Come on now. And then smashing through everything. Very clearly, like we said, the Mario Odyssey team. But I also feel like there's a little bit of like Tears of the Kingdom DNA in here.
Totally,
it's just Nintendo took kind of everything that's worked awesome on their best games, and we're like, let's put a giant monkey who could turn into a Super Saiyan monkey now, which is kind of the opposite of what Saiyans are, as we know. But yeah, I'm so fired up for Donkey Kong Bonanza after this Direct, whereas before I was just like, yeah, let's go, this is going to be a fun game that I'm going to enjoy as a Donkey Kong 64 enjoyer. And now it's like, oh yeah, this is and I'm hoping this kind of lights a fire, because I know just from, and I've said this before and I got really in trouble for it, but when Pikmin 4 was not getting pre-ordered very often through the IGN audience, I was like, ooh, I don't know. And this one isn't getting the sort of attention that I think it deserves in the pre-orders, but I think after this, people are going to be like, whoa, this looks rad, and I want to go buy this game right now.
Yeah. This one's a little funky because funky.
No, it's not. That's the biggest problem.
Because the Switch 2 probably, I mean, it's sold. The Switch 2 is obviously sold incredibly well. That's a whole different topic. But like it compared to the Switch 1, the attach rate is still incredible, or the actual console ownership is still very, very low. And everybody who does own a Switch 2 has had their eyes on Mario Kart up to this point. So I'm hopeful that this Direct, like you said, Seth, lights a fire under people to remind them, oh, there's another really good first-party game coming out very soon, sooner than you think.
Yeah, I think the timing is really good for that, because Mario Kart's been out for about 2 weeks now, and I think a lot of people are starting to look ahead to the next thing, and this Direct was perfectly timed. Hey, this is the next thing, and it looks really great. Brian, we played Bonanza together 2 months ago, but we didn't see most of the stuff that was in here. What'd you think?
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think the audience did either, right? Like, to go off the, sort of piggyback off the internal data that Seth was sharing, which isn't really internal because it's public, but we put up a bunch of preview coverage from the Switch 2 hands-on, and Donkey Kong was the one where people were kind of just like, all right, I'll wait and see how this goes. And I sort of get it, because you couldn't necessarily see how deep it was, but I think today proved that this is that sort of classic Nintendo design philosophy of, you make something that's accessible for kids and, easy to learn, but tough to master. Like, it looked like this is the kind of thing where like a kid can pick up a controller, start bashing stuff, getting collectibles, run around, just destroy stuff, play it like, Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which is one of the games we compared it to early on. But then there's all this like Super Mario Galaxy and Odyssey style chaining of moves and combos and hops drops and throwing stuff, and it looks like 100%ing this game is going to take significant amounts of time, and that's really exciting to me. Also, the idea that this game has been showcased as this destruction simulator for so long, and today they were like, no, you can go into the settings and like make a pizza if you want, which I was immediately like, of course that was for me. I was like, that's thank you for waking me up this early, Nintendo. That I will take your breakfast pizza. But on top of that, I was kind of like, I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out in the sort of open world or the bigger areas, like Seth just hinted at there, like that Tears of the Kingdom DNA of being able to build stuff in the wild. It seems like it's seeping its way into a lot of Nintendo games recently, and I'm all for it. I think it's like the younger generation, like that have grown up playing games like Minecraft and Roblox. They want that, right? They don't want to just jump from A to B. They want to be able to put their own sort of like stamp on things. So yeah, I went from being sold on this game to being just over the moon, because I cannot wait for it. I'm like, Logan, what you said, I think it's like we're going to wrap up on Mario Kart. Everyone's going to get, unlock all the weird animals that you can only get from Kamek hitting you with a specific item on a beach once, maybe, if you're lucky. And then
weird.
We'll grind out for coins, do some P-switches in the open world, re-download some old Switch 1 games, and then be like, okay, now what? And then this is going to hit us. And the timing is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely can't wait. Just a month away. So let's talk about some of the finer things. I want to start with maybe the big twist that we kind of saw coming, which is Pauline. This direct started with Odd Rock, that purple rock that rode DK's shoulder in the original demo and trailers for this game, hatching into Pauline, confirming that leaked image from Nintendo of Korea several weeks ago. And it was a total bait and switch. Like, Nintendo's marketing hid a character from us. This is not something they typically do. So I thought that was kind of cool to see that, yes, it is Pauline. Hopefully the box art changes to get updated, have Pauline on it instead of Odd Rock. And there's a Donkey Kong and Pauline amiibo, which looks amazing.
Oh,
Reb, what'd you think of this?
So good.
Why is she hatching from an egg? Like, what's happening here?
It's like a Void Co
goofy.
egg. You can see like the Void Co tape on Odd Rock. It's like they trapped her in there.
So she
It's
got
not-
trapped in there.
It's not real, is one of the big things to remember.
Oh,
here.
I see.
okay.
Critical.
It's not. Okay.
No, I mean, we already like Logan said, we already kind of knew that Pauline was going to be in this in some capacity, and also, like Logan said, we definitely speculated in our episode, whenever that was, that the Odd Rock was going to be replaced by or transformed somehow into Pauline. So this makes perfect sense. I feel a little embarrassed saying this. I got a little sentimental towards the end, because she's like singing and she's like, so like, I don't know. I feel like
It's very sweet.
I feel like it's gonna kind of get me just a little by the end of it. Like, I'm sure there's gonna be something where like Pauline and all hope is lost or whatever, and then she sings and we have hope again, that sort of thing. And I'm a sap for that kind of thing. I like that they have paired. I love all the other Donkey Kong games where everybody's just talking in text boxes and making monkey sounds, but I like that they have paired Donkey with a human character who is going to like speak and emote in a less
Actually speak with voice acting.
Speak with voice acting to sort of counteract, because they're an odd couple, right? Like, it's this young talented sort of innocent child, and then the big monkey smash.
It's King Kong.
It's Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, no, it's Wreck-It Ralph. But like before that, like this is a character that was very clearly, I mean, almost illegally inspired by King Kong. Like they went to court over it, and it was funny that Miyamoto was at Universal Studios a couple weeks ago talking about Donkey Kong, like 100 feet from where the old King Kong ride used to be. Like all of that, this is the sort of natural progression of that relationship. We've seen Pauline as the captor early on. Although there is a psychological phenomenon where, kidnappies get
Stockholm syndrome.
It's called Rockholm syndrem in this game.
Shut up, Brian.
No, so good.
It's too early for that.
Yeah, I know. This is sort of like this. It reminded me of King Kong, right? Where it's a love story, but it's not in like a romantic way, but in like they're close and they're friends and they care for each other by the end. Yeah, I love that.
Some people don't like to hear this stuff, so I'll couch it with, I'm going to tell you how I think this game's going to end right now, so skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear. Oh my gosh, DK, thank you for bringing Pauline back to the surface to her hometown. We shall rename this city New Donk City. End of game.
You think it's a prequel?
Yeah, I think it's a prequel. I mean, Pauline's younger. It has to be a prequel to Odyssey in some way.
I do. I just want to remind people that Cranky is in this, and Cranky kidnaps an adult Pauline when Cranky is young. So I don't know what's happening with the timeline here, and I need Nintendo to release an official Donkey Kong timeline to explain this.
No.
And where's DK Jr.?
Stop. I hate the Zelda timeline, and people hate that I hate the Zelda timeline, but I think that ruined the discourse on Zelda, and I definitely don't think, I think even less we need a Donkey Kong official timeline. So
we need 3 of those books that have like the,
Donk Rule Historia.
Yeah, Donk.
I love that.
You open it up, the first page is just this whole plate of spaghetti of just like all these crossing, and it's the Pepe Sylvia thing. Yeah, sure, let's do that for Donkey Kong. That makes sense.
With a 10-page history on why they erased Donkey Kong Jr. from all official records and what he did.
Yeah, he's gone,
completely
right?
Disappeared.
He's not even in the new Mario Kart game, which is it's a crime.
Is Diddy still not in it?
Diddy's
in Mario Kart? He's not in Mario Kart.
Also, Donkey Kong only has 2 costumes in that game. Like
they gotta be gearing up to do some sort of promotion with this, where they're gonna like give Donkey more costumes, add Diddy, maybe Pauline's in it.
And she only has 1 costume also.
Okay, add some costumes for her as well.
Yeah, they gave them the short end of the stick in that game. And meanwhile, like baby Rosalina has like 11. It's just
we're getting a baby Pauline then, right? Like
we've got to.
Obviously.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I hope there's some DK DLC for that game. Yeah. But Pauline's here. It's cool. She sings. It's nice. That's cool to see that kind of motif return for Mario Odyssey. I really like that. Let's talk about the other kind of huge reveal from this direct, which is the ancient Bananza powers. So Donkey Kong has transformations in this game. He can turn into Kong Bananza, which is powerful. He can break things faster and harder materials than he can. It's just normal DK. There's Zebra Bananza, which is the fast version for sprinting and speedrunning. And then there's Ostrich Bananza, where he can fly and drop egg bombs, and you can freely transform between these if you have enough Bananergy is the official term, which is just fantastic. So you collect gold to build Bananergy to transform into one of these transformations. There'll hopefully be more than just the 3 that we saw. And even in this footage, we saw them chaining together different moves by turning from the ostrich into the zebra. So you can just see the speedrunning potential here is off the charts, and just kind of the creative, expressive potential of something like a Mario Odyssey, I think, is here in full force. And that was one of my concerns is, I said just last week, I think Nintendo recently has kind of fallen into this trap of if it's more free, then it's more fun. And I didn't want DK Bonanza's only main hook to be you can destroy everything. And this direct immediately washed those concerns away. There's so much creativity here with the platforming. We even saw different materials like a rainbow colored rock that you can pick up and it helps DK fly. So a ton of platforming potential here. Who wants to talk about this ostrich Bananza we're seeing on screen?
It's a wonderfully hideous design. And I really love it. Logan, what does this mean for, like, I know, did we play, like, could you ride as Rambi in the demo we played? I forget.
We couldn't, no. Cranky mentioned Rambi, but we couldn't ride him in the demo.
Because I know, like, in the old DKC games, that was a big part of it, right? Like, the animal friends that you could ride on, and now you turn into those animals, so I don't know how that communication works. Like, can you become, like, a rhino Donkey Kong and then ride a real rhino?
Don't worry, this will all be explained in Donkey History.
Oh my god. I did really like both the animal transformations, and then also, this is a small thing, but you get to see some of the NPCs that Donkey Kong's going to interact with, like these creatures that look like they're quest givers or just like various other inhabitants of this weird underground world. And they're all, they're all weird, overly designed talking animals in various ways. Some of them are clearly Kongs, some of them are not. And that was something that I actually really missed from Donkey Kong 64, a game that I notably love very, very much, which is that game is full of weird dudes, like just all sorts of things, weird animals that have weird jobs, or like a sapient. What's the guy who blocks the doors? Is he like a cash register? What the heck is he? B Locker. I don't remember what all their names are. But yeah, I missed that. I miss these worlds having a bunch of weirdo inhabitants in them. And so I'm really, really glad that this is sort of bringing that back, because there's less room for that. I mean, there's some characters in like Tropical Freeze and stuff, but there's a little less room for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, in a collectathon platformer with settlements and shops and stuff, there's a lot more room to get weird, and they're getting very, very weird. And then we have new Kongs like Grumpy Kong and Poppy Kong and Void Kong, which are the big enemies.
How do we not have a
too.
Grumpy Kong already? I feel like
got a Cranky.
Cranky, sure.
Yeah, it's too similar.
Does this game pass the Void Comp test? Sorry, I had to.
Seth, any thoughts on the transformations?
Oh my god, I love them so much. It's such a cool way to like kind of tie it in with obviously the rideable animals from Donkey Kong Country. But yeah, the movement is what kind of excites me the most. It just looks like it's going to be so fun to chain together the way that you just move across a map. Like 1 minute you're smashing things, and then you're an ostrich, and then you're a zebra who can run across water for some reason. I don't know why zebra has water running power, but it works for me. I also love the design of all the transformations. They just look absurd and it's stupid. Like the zebra's got like huge like biceps and monkey like arms, but then there's hooves instead of monkey hands. This game, it just looks like the more we talk about it, like the more excited I'm getting. This just looks so joyful. It looks so fun, and I just cannot wait. Now, I mean, it's what, a month away? Damn.
1 month, 4 weeks.
That'll be here before we know it. Look at that zebra Bonanza going.
Look at him go.
By the way, check out that
for Brian.
rump.
Yeah.
Doing the not skipping leg day.
If it's about the timeline, I can't help you.
It's not about the timeline. It's an actual question.
Research.
It's an actual question for Brian. Brian, you have a young daughter. What do you think of the co-op?
Oh, so I lit up when I saw that. We're gonna, I think later on we're gonna talk about some third-party games we're playing. One of them is Fantasy Life, and it's got like, I think what's sort of like, I guess you could call like, you know, like little kid mode or whatever, like sidekick mode, which is kind of like what I believe like a Galaxy or Odyssey, right? Where there's like the second player has like some very limited interaction, and here it's like, I don't know, I'm a big guy with a little kid that I carry on my shoulders a lot. So playing this game is very like, so I saw that and I'm like, my daughter's going to play as Pauline, and it's going to be this really awesome like 2-player co-op thing where it's like I can handle most of the, you know, heavy lifting, no pun intended, and then she'll do a lot of the cool sort of secondary stuff and help out, and that's so cool. Like that's that, and I think some of the stuff that they showed for like if little kids do want to play this, like there was some. It's not necessarily like an easy mode, but it's like this is, you know, this will guide you along. Like it'll point you in the right direction. I think one of the things that Logan and I were a little concerned about when we played the demo in New York at the Switch 2 preview event was it has a tendency to sort of feel aimless if you don't really know what you need to do next or what you want to do next. And I think some players were sort of overwhelmed and a little disoriented by that. I loved it because I love like open world games and big open environments. But I think if you're younger, maybe you're kind of like, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? So even just having like a little like, hey, here you go. I think is going to help people a lot. So yeah, again, like I was saying before, I think watching how this game can scale for players of different expert levels is awesome and is so quintessential Nintendo.
Yeah, totally. And just to set that up a bit further, the 2-player co-op, Pauline, whoever's playing as Pauline, uses mouse controls with the Joy-Con 2 to kind of aim the cursor. So yeah, in Galaxy, if you were controlling the Luma, you pointed with the Wii remote. Odyssey, you controlled Cappy, and now they're using the big new mouse functionality for player 2, which is pretty cool. And then assist mode halves the damage you take and guides you in the right direction. So that's the other option we were talking about there too. So yeah, cool stuff to see there. And then Amiibo are here, and I completely love the Donkey Kong and Pauline Amiibo. Scanning it unlocks Pauline's diva dress. Okay, it's a costume, sure, but I care way more about the figure, which just looks great, and I love to see they're still making them. We don't know how much this will cost yet. Probably $30 in the US.
$39.99 is how much this is going to cost.
Yikes, Amiibo are getting expensive, but this one looks really great. And then if you scan other Donkey Kong Amiibo, you get to summon Kong ladders from Donkey Kong Country with explosive powers that appear, and then you can scan any other Amiibo for giant spheres of different materials to appear that you can just rip chunks off of and aim and throw at enemies and do whatever. So Amiibo live on. They're not in Mario Kart World at all. I kind of thought maybe they were done, but every time I think they're done, they bring them right back. So
they made a point of it too in the direct. They were like, every single Amiibo is compatible.
Yeah.
Please buy Amiibo again.
Well, this is
even though they're expensive.
I think this is like some of the first merchandise of his new design. Like I haven't really seen anything directly of that, and it looks like a really beautifully sculpted figurine. And like, you know, Amiibo quality has consistently gone up. So has the price, unfortunately. But like this looks awesome. Like this looks so just like a toy I want on my desk or in the infinite trash pile behind me. If you've ever watched me on video here, wait, you can use the You can use the DK wristband from the Universal Studios.
Yeah, those
park.
are Amiibo.
Yeah.
Those are Amiibo.
Amazing. Awesome.
Yeah.
No, and it reminds me a little of not necessarily like Yoshi's Crafted World level, which is I think that and Mario Maker. Logan, you and I were talking about this recently about how that was some of the best uses of Amiibo. You could just bring out your old pile of Amiibos from like 10 years ago and start scanning them. This is not to that extent. This is more Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, where you scan them and you get material and drops and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see how all that works out. I love all the different costumes and stuff. Like, yeah, this looks like the full package. You know, this looks like a genuine, big, full-fledged first-party game.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of costumes, we got a good look at that. There are different outfits for Donkey Kong and Pauline, and you can also change the color of DK's fur. I always like playing as the Grape Ape by using the purple color in Smash Brothers, so I hope that's here. And then outfits come with different skills, which is a little bit different than Mario Odyssey, which is obviously still the direct comparison for this game. But yeah, we could see that there's also skill points, and you can unlock different skills as you kind of level DK up throughout the game, which is very new too, through the skill tree. And I think the one they showed in the Direct was called Surf, which lets you turf surf on water. So turf surf is you could rip a chunk out from the ground and then like basically shield surf from Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom on it. But then you can level that up to surf and then take that overseas. And there's things that give you better sonar, stronger punches. So yeah, you can actually level up DK, which is kind of cool to see. I think that skill trees are kind of hit or miss. Every game kind of seems to think they need one these days, but I think this one looked like a cool use of it.
Is Donkey Kong like the last major video game series to finally accept RPG elements?
Yeah, might be. Yeah.
I would say that has a lot to do with the kind of the conceit of the game being a monkey who collects bananas. Mm-hmm. Not really something that you're like, that does need RPG elements.
Not to throw shade at the N64 game, which I will always do, but
I cannot believe.
No, it's like I vastly prefer a skill tree over, collecting 600 different colored bananas as, I
have bad news. I think in this one there's a skill tree, and also you're going to have to collect 600 bananas.
It's got something for everybody.
Fine,
is what you're saying.
I get the sense there's going to be a lot of banana collecting in here.
Yes, lots of Banandium gems, but maybe not where you have to switch between 4 different characters and go back to the same locations to do it each time.
You have to wear a different colored necktie.
I miss my Kongs.
So they have canonically stated now that regular Donkey Kong, the one that just wears a tie, is officially naked. I need to point that out. It says
they did say
it literally says that. So anything on top of that is clothed.
But what does it say? What are you talking about?
Default Donkey Kong says it says naked in the thing there. So that means the Donkey Kong that we've been playing as for our whole lives, naked.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
okay, naked, but he still has the tie.
He has the tie, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god, I love that he doesn't wear pants; he wears breeches.
Breeches.
Standard
Nice.
breeches.
Anything else anyone wants to share on this game before we move on?
We did see Diddy and Dixie in the background somewhere.
Yes,
so
at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for Funky. He's, I feel like Funky needs more love.
I feel like Funky will probably make it. Like he's been pretty quintessential to the last several Donkey Kong games.
Yeah,
no, he's doing.
You could play as him in Tropical Freeze in the updated version.
Yeah, the latter Funky mode. Yeah.
Which I was kind of expecting assist mode to be called Funky mode. But.
I think we'll see him.
Yeah, I hope so.
Some of the NPCs in this game seem very classic Rareware in that it is a object with googly eyes on it, and that's
that's totally true. Yeah, no, I think that's one of my favorite things about it. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but this is a totally new direction for Donkey Kong. It is all but confirmed the Super Mario Odyssey team. It just feels like that more and more. So it's the first time Donkey Kong has been brought back internally since Donkey Kong Jungle Beat 20 years ago. But all that being said, it totally feels like it is honoring the entire series, both when it was in Nintendo's hands and when it was in Rare's hands and when it was in Retro's hands. It feels like they aren't saying, oh, this is a new start for Donkey Kong, we're leaving everything else behind. It is no, that the NPCs do look like they're from Rare games, and the music is from Donkey Kong 64, and there are platforming levels that look like Tropical Freeze, and I feel like the Bananza transformations totally look like Jungle Beat's design of some of those other Kongs. Like there is a little bit of everything in here from Donkey Kong's history, And I think that's really cool while also being something completely new. And I think a lot of hardcore Donkey Kong fans have been concerned, oh, they just came up with this destruction mechanic and handed it to DK, and this isn't a Donkey Kong game I want. And I hope that for you, this direct kind of turned you around and helps you see, this is honoring this entire legacy from when Donkey Kong kidnapped Pauline on top of the girders in 25 meters all the way to Tropical Freeze to now. I think it has everything in there, and I just think it's going to be an awesome new step forward for DK. It looks so good.
You nailed it. This I'm like giddy for this game. Like the idea of this being this thing that, is based on one of Nintendo's original iconic and probably like sort of first hit games, right?
Yeah.
And then also honoring the legacy of every game that Donkey Kong's ever been. It's just really cool. It like people are always like, oh, I want new IPs and stuff like that. And like those are great. And Nintendo is good about those too, right? But at the same time, taking this character that has been so integral to them forever and giving him like this brand new game that looks this great and looks this deep is awesome. It's the best possible thing you can do with a legacy character like that. So
yeah.
And that is wholly unique, right? Like, I mean, it is very Mario Odyssey in certain respects, but this is not a clone of Mario Odyssey. No. The destruction mechanic, I don't know. I feel like everybody's a little low on the destruction mechanic. Not everybody here, but just everybody in general is like, oh, that's it? No, that's cool. Being able to rip up an entire stage, like that's the opposite of what you normally are supposed to do in a video game. And that's, I don't know. I think that's really cool. And it's nice to have a game from Nintendo coming out now that feels like really, really fresh. I don't mean that they're not coming out with fresh things, but like, look, my favorite stuff on the Switch was like Animal Crossing, which was a renewed version of the Animal Crossings I've already played. Mario Odyssey, which was like a much, much better Galaxy. Pikmin, which was more Pikmin, but better. Like everything is more of the thing, but better. I feel like we haven't had this big of a transformation for a character since Breath of the Wild. So I'm really, really stoked.
They're also finally giving Donkey Kong the 3D game he deserves. Like if, Mario and Zelda made the jump during the N64 era and Donkey Kong fell flat on his face.
No,
I'm kidding.
That's not true.
It did really. I mean, I love Donkey Kong 64 with all my heart, but I love it with the caveat that I know it's kind of a weak game and has a lot of problems.
Sure.
No,
I finished it. But
I didn't.
What?
I got to my next door neighbor had it. I never owned it myself. And so we played it together and we got to the final K rule fight and he moved away before we could do it. So that's why I want it on Virtual Console so bad because it's my white whale. I gotta finish it.
I've been refreshing the Nintendo like X and
they gotta do it
to see like have they be like, hey, while you're waiting, you can play it on the NSO starting today. But I want to say one thing. I have a prediction that there is at least one transformation that they didn't show us. That is my prediction.
Oh yeah,
because
I think you're right.
Where's Swordfish?
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you can go on top of water, you got to be able to go under.
Did we see the frog? Where's the frog?
No,
we need the frog.
No, we don't need the frog. I'm just saying.
I like the spider though from DKC2 where you like shoot the webs and then platform across.
That one's really good.
Shoot.
Yeah,
that one's really good.
I just wanted to agree that this is the 3D game that Donkey Kong has deserved for a long time. It's the one that I've been like, whenever I've said, I don't want them to make a new Donkey Kong 64 that is the same as Donkey Kong 64. I want Donkey Kong to have a 3D game that really glorifies the destructive menace that he is. And so this is perfect. This is everything I wanted.
Absolutely. No, it's just not even the 3D game he deserved. It's the game he deserved. It's been 10 years, over 10 years since a DK game, and we've been banging those bongos on this show all year until they announced this. And it's so exciting that it's finally happening. Remember, I felt like we were at the lowest of lows when they announced Country Returns HD, and we were like, really?
Yeah.
That's it? But then just a few weeks later, we got to look at this, and it's turning out to be everything that we wanted it to be. So that's DK Bonanza. Hope you're excited too. I thought the direct was just awesome.